Prince Harry is becoming a willing stooge, you could say, of the Labour government and those who want to tear down the monarchy because this nincompoop seems to think it's a great idea to have the rest of the UK taxpayers pay for his security anytime he's in the country. And he has just achieved, you could say, a great win because a risk assessment is being carried out on his behalf yet again and will be presented to Ravik, which will determine whether or not he gets taxpayer funded security again. I cannot even begin to tell you how badly this plays for the monarchy, for the government, for Harry. But Harry, he's a willing patsy. He's a willing stooge. And I think he's, quite frankly, too dumb to realize what a catastrophic disaster this will be for him and the rest of his family because he seems to think that he is the most important person on the face of the planet. So, guys, we are going to get into all this today. But if you haven't been to Royal News Network before, my name is Brittany. I do provide compelling royal commentary. So please hit that subscribe button. I would absolutely love to have you back. And I'm wearing some of my Christmas merch. I got a quote on here. So if you guys want to check that out, there'll be a link down below as well because it's so fun to have, I think, classy quotes on shirts is about as graphic on a shirt as I'm willing to go. And so this one is from Queen Victoria talking about Christmas trees. So if you guys want to get into the festive spirit, feel free to check out the link down below. And tomorrow we will be having a tiara watch party because it is the Swedish Nobel Prize ceremony, which means all the ladies, sans Princess Sophia, who just had an interesting revelation about her connections to Jeffrey Epstein, by the way, which we'll hopefully get to in an upcoming edition, maybe of the Crown Report, but maybe we'll do an entire video on all the royals connected to Jeffrey Epstein. There are at least 4 I can think of, most of them women. So I think that'll be an interesting thing to discuss, but tiaras are afoot tomorrow. So if you're interested in that, it'll be 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But let's get into this. And this unbelievably bad thing that only Harry's excited about. This guy is so dim. He's so dim. He has no idea that his greedy pursuits for himself and allegedly his family, but this is really about him, may tear down the entire institution of the monarchy, making the entire taxpayer funded aspect of this entirely moot. Harry doesn't get it though. So, what happened here in this particular instance, which is that the Home Office has decided that it will once again redo a risk assessment for Prince Harry to determine what level of supposed risk the man has. We have been told many times Harry is at the most risk out of anyone in the entire UK. We have been told this numerous times. He was at the top threat level in the royal family, comparable only to Queen Elizabeth II and then also Theresa May back in 2019. I still don't know if I quite believe that. But he seems to think he's still at such a high risk that he needs taxpayer funded security anytime he's in the country. And yes, he was lying to you when he said, in my opinion, he was lying to you when he said he would pay for it because he can't pay for it. The Met Police are not for sale. And if Harry opens up that Pandora's box and he quote unquote pays for it, then every Tom, Dick, and Harry who thinks they have a security risk, who are a celebrity or something, is going to demand the same thing. And so, what this risk assessment does, I think they said it would be actually completed by next year, early next year in January, that they will let us all know where Harry stands. And if he does get his security back, oh my gosh, will this play badly for everyone? I mean, I can see the political ads now against the Labor Party. Labor Party, waste your taxpayer dollars funding a whiny toddler royal arrogant brat because he's too dumb to apparently understand that when you leave a job, you leave the perks too. And for the monarchy, it will be, oh my gosh, again, this whiny, spoiled, arrogant brat of a prince needs his security because, oh my gosh, his daddy is king and he's so important. Not going to play well at all. And it'll just be a boon to the Republicans going, look at what your government is doing just because this guy has a royal title. He demands and gets the security that he wants. And wouldn't you know it, you're the one who's footing the bill. Again, all of this plays entirely badly. So, what is everyone supposed to do in this situation? Now, I don't know the exact aspects of the British politics because we'll take the three sides here: the government, which is Labour, Harry, and the royal family. So, when it comes to Labour, it is a liberal party, quite liberal. And my understanding is that there's quite a lot of Republicans in that party. And what I mean by Republicans is not the Republicans here in the United States, but those who are anti monarchy, the abolitionist movement. They want to abolish the monarchy, and this is their golden goose. Like, if you get this nincompoop on security again, taxpayer funded security, so he can have glorified holidays and speaking events, so he can go around literally making money for himself on the taxpayer dime. Like, I can't even begin to tell you how badly that plays. And it absolute gives the anti-monarchy movement all the ammunition it needs. Constantly telling people, hey, every time this guy is in the country, every second he's here, every minute he's here, every hour, this is how much he's costing you so he can run around and make money for himself. I mean, it's a terrible, terrible thing. It looks absolutely horrifically bad. But if labor wants to get rid of the monarchy, this is a great way to do it. This is a great way to do it. And although, again, I will say that when it comes to the Labor Party, the political ads write themselves because even their enemies in the political realm can make ads going, this is how much the Labor government is costing you to protect Prince Harry so he can run around and make money while telling us how terrible his family is. Again, that doesn't play well for them either. It may get them sort of a boon with the Republican movement, but will it play for them well in the long runs? I mean, I can see Labor. Now, again, I don't know the British politics all that closely, but there's a potential that a fair number of voters might vote against Labor just because they hate Harry and they hate that he's costing them money. When you can't pay your rent, when you can't pay your bills, and you're being told, hey, you have to pay for this bratty, whiny prince who threw a big enough tantrum that he got his way on your dime, nobody's going to be happy about that. Again, all the political ads, the satire, everything writes itself. Now, what role you could say does the monarchy play in this? Now, the monarchy sits on the board of Ravik, and they're one of the ones who said basically Harry's no longer a working royal. He doesn't deserve security. And that's where this should stand. He has no working role. He is of no benefit to the British public or the British people. He is just a whiny, spoiled brat. And I will say that a lot, and a stubborn brat, by the way. And because of that, there is no reason to offer him taxpayer funded protection. None of the royals, even those with titles, get it 24/7 except for the king and the Waleses, and that's it. And even at the time of Archie's birth, they were told, hey, Archie's not going to get security because he's constitutionally irrelevant. And I would imagine that goes for Meghan too. But Archie, being under sort of the umbrella of Harry, would get some aspects of it. So you can imagine, Harry wandering around London. He'll get eventually probably a 6-car convoy for him and his family, 1 car for him, 1 car for Meghan, 2 for the kids, because, I don't think they all can stand each other all that much. I mean, the amount of waste is unbearable and it looks horrible for the monarchy. And this again comes down to the idea. All Charles needs to do right now is strip Harry of his title and place in the line of succession. And this actually problem should go away. So if this, let's say, goes to fruition and sort of everything follows through and Harry gets his taxpayer funded protection back, Charles can go, well, that's great, son, but this plays badly for us, which it does. So maybe we give you 1 trip back to the UK and then the hammer comes down and no more titles and no more anything. And so ergo, you should not be a risk anymore. You should not have this risk. And I'm still even confused about what the risk is. The guy played video games in a bunker in Afghanistan. Like, why does anybody care about that? Like, he allegedly killed a couple of people in Afghanistan. No actual verification of that. He was just a gunner in a helicopter. Like, who knows if his quote unquote kill count, which was disgusting that he published in his own book, is even true. The guy didn't even know the risks of combat until he was on the freaking plane home, seeing soldiers who had been mortally and horrifically wounded in the country. That is how dim this guy is. So this idea that there's some sort of massive cavalcade of people interested in gunning for Harry, I think is ridiculous. Now, obviously, they added the race aspect in with Meghan, but I mean, last time Harry's like, I had a stalker. It was this female stalker, and she got too close to me and she got into the secure area. Well, I'm sure that's bad, but that's what a lot of celebrities deal with. Harry, you are a celebrity now. And the monarchy needs to make it clear what is a celebrity and what is royalty. Because Harry is crossing those boundaries and he's leaving confusion in his wake, and all it can do is damage his father. Because there is no way this plays well for the monarchy. No way. They already are looking wasteful. The wolves are already circling. And this nincompoop, who is of zero use to the monarchy right now, he is a drag on the system, is going in there and throwing a grenade in the middle and smiling, going, I get my security back, because he only cares about himself. He only cares about himself. And so the monarchy here, like, they're in a lose-lose scenario. There's no way that this plays well for them. There's no way, like, in some ways they can influence the Ravik board, and hopefully they do. And they hopefully go, hey, yes, we analyze the risk, because the best case scenario here is that the Ravik goes, we analyze the risk, it's minimal. There is no reason to extend security to him. Because again, I think Harry's biggest risk in the UK is a rotten tomato. That is the guy's biggest risk. And when it comes to the royals, if he ever showed up at an event, there will sure be some people who are happy to see him. Anybody likes seeing a celebrity, that's sort of a thing. But you will get, I think, actually start getting actual legitimate protests anytime he's in the country telling him, stop wasting our money. And they'll be protesting against the monarchy too. Hey, you're letting this guy waste our money. Well, people are wondering why in the world that the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh have a 120 room estate that they're paying just a peppercorn rent, maybe a couple £1,000 a year. That is, again, the optics here are so horrifically bad. There is no way out of it. And then again, it compounds Andrew, Royal Lodge, Bagshot Park, like all these issues that are kind of coalescing into this larger and I think broader anti-monarchy movement. And again, this is why Charles needs to be the leader here. He needs to be the leader because all of this is happening in reaction to certain things. And Charles looks like he always is sort of trying to play the long game when the long game is no longer working. You have to actually make big drastic changes here. You have to make the hard decisions. You were pushed into making the hard decision with Andrew, and this might push you into making the hard decision about Harry when you should have just been the leader, the king here, and made the hard decision already. Other kings have done it. It's Charles's job now. He has to do it. Because the only way to avoid this for the monarchy, because Harry's basic plea is, I'm the son of the king, I deserve protection. That is his basic premise, is I'm the son of the king, I'm important to this country. Even though I don't live here, even though I'm no use to this country, I was born a prince, therefore I deserve this. Well, like there's a lot of people born with royal titles. And again, this goes back to this idea that people born with royal titles are arrogant, demanding, and they want certain things because they think they deserve certain things. And all falls back on this idea is that the monarchy is useless, it's a drain on the system, and the whole institution needs to go away. And how stupid would it be of Harry to pursue this line, thinking, "Oh, it's benefit me," and he topples the entire thing in the end. And then there's no security for anyone because no monarchy exists. Did that ever formulate in the mind of Harry? Probably not. And so the third aspect here is the dimwit that is Prince Harry, who I think is too dumb and too delusional to understand how badly this will play for him in the end. Nobody wants this, Harry. Nobody agrees with this, and everybody will hate you for this. I can almost guarantee you. You'll actually increase your security risk because everybody's going, why the heck are my taxpayer dollars being wasted protecting you while you go around and picks up bags of cash for doing nothing, for rambling on for hours? He is of no benefit. No benefit to the government, no benefit to the monarchy, even no benefit to himself really at this point. But Harry's idea here, and this is so critical to understanding Harry, I think, in this instance, because him and Meghan, both in their own ways, live in delusional landscapes. Meghan thinks she's the best, she's smart, she's creative, and she's none of those things. And so she steps from one disaster into another constantly because she can't deal with reality and she can't deal with understanding how she made mistakes and how to adjust and correct those mistakes into something more productive. Megan just can't quite get there. And because of that, that means overall, she's going to struggle quite a bit here because she's just kind of going to sit there and go, oh, well, why aren't I getting this? Why aren't they getting that? Like just so many things. And so Harry is a different delusion. Number one, he's deluded because, in my personal opinion, I think a lot of their relationship isn't going super well. And so he has to live in a land of delusion and think everything's great because if he admits things suck, then he has to admit everybody in his family and all his friends were right about his future wife. They all told him, hey, I think this woman's bad news. I don't think she has the best intentions. And Harry ignored all of them and cut them out of his life as they were trying to tell him, hey, we think she only loves you for your title and nothing else. And basically that's exactly the case is Megan, I don't think cares about Harry at all, except for that title he brings to their relationship. That's the only reason she married him in the first place. That's the only reason she gives him the time of day is because of that title and literally nothing else. Because I think Harry has to delude himself into believing. He has to have kind of this roadblock here going. Well, if I don't get my security, my children won't be secure, my wife won't be secure, and I can't bring them back to the UK. But the reality is, I think that Meghan doesn't want to go back to the UK, does not care if her children go back to the UK, has no feeling about his country, his family at all. Because much like her own father, who she tossed away like a piece of garbage, she tossed away the British people, the royal family, like pieces of garbage as well. Does Harry not realize that how Meghan deals with things that don't go her way is to literally toss them aside as if they're trash and litter on the highway that hopefully somebody else drives over? Meghan doesn't care. But Harry has to believe in his mind that the only thing holding him back at this point is the security in his country. But that's not the case. It's his wife. It's a woman he married. She doesn't want to go. She doesn't care. And Harry, again, I think, has entirely deluded himself into believing that there's these shadow actors in place and like there's things preventing him. And if he doesn't protect his family, they can't go because they're going to be at risk and all these sorts of things. When again, I think the biggest risk to his family are rotten tomatoes and some eggs. I don't think anybody's that invested. In fact, I feel like Harry antagonizes the British people more by pulling stunts like this. And it's not just, bringing his kids and his wife back to the country. I think overall, Harry thinks, well, if I can get this security issue resolved in my favor, maybe I'll be friends with my brother again. Maybe I'll redevelop these relationships, all these sorts of things. Because I really feel like Harry, in some ways, has to live in this stitched together reality where there are things preventing him from establishing and maintaining relationships when really he is the factor in everything. He is the one who screwed up. He is the one who damaged his relationships with his family and his friends. And he is the reason that he's in the position now. But if he admits that, he has to admit to himself, again, he made mistakes. And I think that's the thing Harry wants to avoid more than anything else on the planet is realizing and recognizing what a mistake he made marrying Meghan Markle. Because with a different wife, a better disposition, a better person, somebody who could have relationships with people. I don't truly think Meghan has really many true friends in the world. I think all of her friendships are transactional pretty much. Everybody's grifting off each other. So that's why it's so easy for her to toss people aside is because she never really got to know them in the first place. She never cared to know them. They were only useful stooges to her. This is why she kind of runs around and has different friends all the time. So like her friend Kelly now is like her new best friend, and she's best friends with her because they're both grifting off each other. She's the convenient grift. That's, again, all Meghan cares about are the convenient grifts. And so Kelly plays into that. Other people will play into that. She'll drop Kelly at some point and move on to somebody else. It's what she's always done. But Harry, I don't think, wants to recognize the mistakes that he's made, how he has contributed to the collapse of his various friendships and family relationships, because Harry is always putting the blame on somebody else. His security issues has been, let's say, a convenient villain for him. It's security. That's why I can't go back. That's why my children can't go back. When really it's him. And even if he gets his way, His brother still won't be friends with him. His relationship with his father will be forever damaged. There will be a lot of people who don't want to speak to him. This won't really solve his problems. And of course, there could be a reality that there's a threat to him, but it's not a threat, you could say, to his wife and his kids. It's a threat to him. Like when I was reading through the Telegraph article about this, it kept mentioning Harry as a risk, Harry as a risk, Harry as the risk. So why would that prevent your kids and your wife from going? It's because they don't want to go. Or in particular, Meghan, she doesn't want to go. And if Harry gets his way here, I think it pays the way to strip him of everything. Because the monarchy has to have an vested interest in protecting itself. Because at this point, I don't feel like Charles is there. Again, I think the cancer issue has been a real distraction for him. And like an obvious one, a notable one, a totally 100% understandable one. But with the chaos with Andrew, the investigation by the MPs, the vested interest in some aspects of the Labor government, I think, wanting to get rid of the monarchy. Then you have questions over the Crown estate and peppercorn rents and all these sorts of things. Harry is the last thing his father needs. Harry getting his security back will be perhaps the thing that breaks the camel's back, perhaps the thing that pushes more people against the monarchy. Because the monarchy has to prove that it's a use to the country. That's not a drain. It provides a benefit. And while I think, of course, monarchies are great and provide an amazing benefit, a lot of people don't. And the monarchy, I think, has been very complacent. And this is not just on Charles. I think it's on William as well and other members of the family who think they can just do and continue on with everything and things will just all work out in the end. I think they need to have sort of a battle plan ready here. I think the monarchy needs to be circling the wagons and thinking strategically here, not just letting things happen, not just playing the never complain, never explain game. I understand where that works, but it's not going to work here. They need to be more strategic. If they're not, they may see the whole thing crumble. Because again, there is no interest by anyone, I think, in the British public to waste taxpayer money on Harry just because he whined and complained and is arrogant and bratty, a stubborn brat as well. Because of his position, he has abused his influence, his connection to the monarchy, his elitism to demand security when a woman who's being stalked by an ex-boyfriend. Remember that family? I think the mom and both the girls were killed by an ex-boyfriend in the UK because he was stalking, harassing, and being crazy. And he came in one day and killed the whole family, basically. I think the father wasn't there at the time. I can't quite remember the story. They don't get protection, but this whiny, bratty prince does. Again, the political ads, the anti-monarchy ads, they write themselves. But perhaps this is Charles's route to say, well, if the reasoning here is because he's the son of the king, that he gets the security and because he's in the line of succession, if we remove him from that, remove the titles, you could say, from Princess Beatrice and Eugenie as well, what is the reason to give him taxpayer funded security? He's not on the line of succession anymore. He obviously has no role in the working monarchy. He is basically a normal citizen. And Harry has to accept that that's his reality now. That is what he chose with his wife. And trying to change that is to no one's benefit, not even Harry himself. So guys, let me know what you think of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall speak to you again very soon. Bye.